or they try to.
What in God's name is going on in here? What was that ruckus?
What ruckus?
I was just in my office and I heard a ruckus.
Could you describe the ruckus, sir?
You're now listening to Music Impulse with Smilez.
Alright, y'all, it's your boy Smilez, and we back for another episode of the Music Impulse. On this special episode, I got my guy Prodig-E in the building, you know what I'm saying? Straight out of Cleveland. He's currently located in like the Atlanta, Georgia area and whatnot. You know, me and my guy go back to college days at Bowling Green State University. Y'all know I've talked about my joint, What It Is, Ma, a couple times. If you listen to like this podcast or you listen to an Audible Ruckus podcast, I like to throw it into the rotation on Audible Ruckus every now and then. I'll be like, hey, yeah, this song right here, you know, What It Is, Ma. It's like, you know, it's kind of ancient right now. It's probably like, you know, 10, 12 years old at this point. But, you know, every now and then I like to throw it into the rotation on Audible Ruckus. But my guy Prodig-E is the one that produced that joint. But yeah, you know, had to finally sit down and talk to my guy, especially after, you know, I've had a nice little string of Cleveland representatives on the pod, you know, that you know, from Sav to Jay Smith to Ace and Suso and all that. So, you know, definitely had to get you on the podcast to talk to you, especially because you've been doing some dope things over the last like 10, 12 years and whatnot. But yeah. How you doing, my guy?
I'm doing okay, man. Yeah, it's been a minute. It's actually been a while since me and you actually like had like an actual like face-to-face conversation. So
yeah.
This was actually good. You know, I think this was needed, man. You're right. A lot of things has kind of like transpired in the last, you know, I guess 10 to 12 years. You know, just of, you know, where we came from to now where we at. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
So I definitely wanted to start off with, from the beginning, you moved to Chicago. Oh, bless you. But talk to us first about, you know, this move to Chicago that you did a while back. What spurred that, and how was that?
Okay, so, you know, after college, I mean, I think we all kind of went our separate ways. And, you know, I was just kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, my sister was, my sister when it was in Chicago already. Mm-hmm. And so it was either between going to DC and Chicago. I knew from the jump that DC was expensive, so I knew I wasn't gonna want to go there. But Chicago just seemed, you know, it's one of the three biggest cities in the United States. So I was just like, okay. And by the time that I moved, that's when drill and everything started to kind of pop off in Chicago. So I'm like, yeah. Okay. And so I decided to move out there. You know, I got situated and, you know, established. And, you know, I think that process of just moving there and just being on my own, I really grew up in a sense, you know. So, you know, went out there, you know, I kind of established myself. And, you know, at first I was just like, I really didn't know how to navigate trying to get yourself out there, how to network with people, how to navigate that space. And so, you know, I saw certain opportunities to network. I did, you know, but you know, with anything in the music industry, you're gonna get probably more no's than you get yeses.
Yeah.
Until you establish yourself as that. So, you know, that was just the normal thing. I probably got more no's than I got yeses, and but the yeses, I'm very fortunate to, you know, to have those people that said yes, you know, and I'm still connected with them to this day. And yeah, so that's kind of my process of how I got to Chicago.
I know one of the yeses that I've seen you get, especially even currently now, is you got involved with like these beat battles. Like, talk to me about these beat battles that you've done. I saw you did like a Red Bull one like once before, and then I saw you're like currently in one right now that's like going on. And like, talk to us about this. Like, how'd you get involved with those? Like, explain to us what's a beat battle for like some like producers and stuff like that. Because I had never heard of them until I saw you post about them.
I probably would say that like. This probably started maybe 2016, 2017. So probably like 2 or 3 years after I went to Chicago, because I didn't. Honestly, I was in some before I left. I was actually in some in Cleveland before I left, but you know, I just didn't really see the benefits of working, you know, of networking with the people in those. You know, no offense or no, you know, disrespect to those people that you know, competed and were there, but I just didn't see the overall picture of you know, working with them. So so it was probably 2016, 2017, and I kept hearing adverts on the radio for Roomy Producer Series, and I was just like, what is that? So, you know, I go home, looked it up on my computer. I'm like, oh, this is dope. Okay, so they were basically touring around the United States. Yeah, so they were touring around the United States, and I think I caught it at the tail end of season 3, right? So I wasn't able to get into that. So I applied. I applied when season 4, you know, came around, and you know, they had like maybe about 3 or 4 different cities in the Midwest, and I just tried to apply to all of them. I was just like, I mean, it doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter, you know, what city is. I'll be there. Yeah. So I got in my hometown, Cleveland, Ohio. Hey. Won that. Then I got to the semifinal round in Chicago, where I was currently living, and I got everybody that, you know, that I was cool with. You know, I got them to come and to cheer me on. Got past that part. Got to the final. Didn't win the final, but it was a dope experience, and it got my foot into the door of beat battling. Mm-hmm. And so I guess to kind of explain beat battling, a beat battle is when, you know, you bring a set of beats, the opponent brings a set of beats, and you know, depending on how the parameters of, because every beat battle is different. Some may want you to play 45 seconds of the beat. Mm-hmm. Some may want you to play a minute of the beat. Some may want you to play a minute 30 of the beat. So it really just depends on the, you know, how they want to do it or whatnot. Okay. But yeah, so on the way to on you know, in preparation for going to the final, I started looking up other beat battles, and I found out about Battle of the Beat Makers in Toronto, which is like I guess I would consider it the Super Bowl for beat makers. Oh wow! And so, you know, I downloaded all of those videos, and I was watching them on a plane as I was going to the final in Vegas for Remy. So I did the beat makers. I did another one in St. Louis called Fresh Produce. Okay. And I've won the, I guess the, what do you want to call it? They do several in the year, and then they make all the people that won over the course of the year, they make them all battle each other. Okay. So on the boss battle or whatever. And so, yeah, so now I am, you know, and I've done other little, I wouldn't call them small, but like I've done like other little battles, like when I was in Chicago and whatnot. But yeah, now I'm currently, I'm currently in the Battle of the Beat Makers for this year. So it's 32 producers, and they pick 32 out of 256 producers. So I mean,
Damn, that's what's up. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, that's no small feat. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a journey. It's definitely taken me places where I didn't think I would ever see myself. Just being able to rub shoulders with some of the biggest people in the industry, and I mean, and it's been nice, honestly. But yeah,
that's dope. That's dope. Well, congrats on making it into the top 32. So what's the, I guess, next round, or when is this going to happen, or is there a way that we can support, or
so it's just gonna be one day.
Okay.
So it's August 25th, and I do remember the previous one I was at, they did do a live stream. I don't know if you're gonna have to pay for it or not, because I think the last time you did have to pay for it. But I don't know. Maybe this time they may not make you pay for a live stream. But yes, and I'll put all that info in my social medias and whatnot. I'll let people know how they can watch it live. But
yeah, we definitely have to make sure we promote that for sure. Especially making the top 32 out of over 250 folks.
Yeah.
So, I saw you shout out that the guy that you about to go up against or something like that. I saw you say that on there or something.
Oh yeah, my boy DJ Quality. I've battled him a few times. He's from Chicago, and obviously at the time I was living in Chicago, so we had battled a few times in the city, out of the city. He's a really good dude. He's a very talented producer. So I had to give him props, because he got the second seed out of all the producers. So again, that's no short feat or small feat. So I had to give my guy props.
Yeah, that's dope. Actually, to even go back a little bit, just so people know a little bit of your history, how'd you get into producing? Like, what was like your first early saying like, hey, I want to be a producer?
So I actually love this question, to be honest with you, because like I get giddy whenever like somebody asks me the question, because like I go back in time and I just remember it really was like a simpler time. Obviously, technology is where it is today now, but at the time that I discovered it, it wasn't really much going on. So, I started making beats when I was like 14, 15.
Mm-hmm.
So my sister, she had bought some recording equipment, right? And, with that recording equipment, it came with, she had the computer, she bought the interface, mic, everything. And so with the computer, it came with a couple pieces of software. I think it was like, at the time it was Cakewalk. And so I used that partially, but there's this program called Fruity Loops.
Hey, Fruity Loops.
which is now FL Studio. So, but at the time it was like Fruity Loops, and I think it was like Fruity Loops 3, and I was like, what is this? And it just looked weird. And I wasn't really familiar with the old school, drum machines at the time, but it kind of the old 808, the old TR 808 drum machine. So yeah, I was just messing with it, right? And the beats weren't really sounding all that great at first, but then as I kept messing with it, and they started to get better. I started to mimic other, so like I hear a song and then I'll try to mimic it the best way I could. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of producers, that's how I would tell a lot of producers how to get better. Mm-hmm. Is to try to like take a song, one of your favorite songs, and then try to match the sounds up as close as possible. Not only does it teach you what sounds to use, ideas to use and to develop your own style, right? Mm-hmm. So I was doing that, and then I just started getting better and better and better and better, and I ended up at this point. So yeah.
Oh yeah, hey, you super dope. You one of the fire ones right here right now. Even one, I was gonna say one of the other wins that you talked about that you've had over the years is you got a placement with Dream Dog. Can you talk to us about how that happened to be, and what was it like when you heard that she like got on your joint and it was like a single and all that?
So it was kind of around the pandemic time, and that's kind of when what's the app called? Gosh, I can't even remember the app. I'm tweaking right now.
Clubhouse. I know you be big on Clubhouse. I always
there we go, Clubhouse.
Yeah, because I always get those notifications like skateboard Prodig-E is speaking now on Clubhouse.
Yeah, I think it was, and I think Clubhouse was very very influential for getting that whole situation done. At that point, people weren't going outside, so the only thing they could do was Clubhouse.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of influential people on the app during that time frame.
I was on Clubhouse heavy now. It's like it's probably been months since I logged on, but I still get like the notifications every now and then.
Yeah, because everybody's back outside now. Deals and stuff are being done outside now. At the time that I got on, we were all locked inside. So, but yeah, so I met my boy Spades. So Spades, he goes by Big Token now, but like at the time it was Spades Saratoga. He's good friends with Dream. He was saying that he needed some joints for Dream, and so I shot him over some, and then he was like, I'm trying to think, what was the name of the hold on, let me look it up. But like he was looking for something up tempo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I gave him a whole bunch of songs, but he was like, hold on, let me see here. It was because the name of it was just like, I think the name of it, I'm trying to figure out what did I name it.
I'm gonna say that's actually the cool part when I be seeing folks post their songs or producers post is like, yeah, they named it like some random thing like this, and then what the person ends up actually naming the song is always interesting. Like, yeah, I just named this like Voltron.
Yeah, like that's another thing that...
they turn the song into bounce that ass.
Yeah, like that's the thing that be killing me. People be like, I just name it anything, and then people be like, oh yeah, that's what I named it. I'm like, why'd you name it like that? I just named it whatever. So it's in here, but I forgot what I named it. But that's why he Nasty Talk. There we go. So it was called Nasty Talk MP3.
Yeah. And
so that was the one that he opened up first, right? And so when he heard it, he was like, oh yeah, this is the one. Mm-hmm. So he sent it over to her. She liked it. She hopped on it. She recorded it, and then the rest was history.
Yeah, that's dope. So yeah, because when I saw you post, I was like, oh snaps, my dog got a big placement with Dream Dog. I was like, okay, he really out here doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you got that going on. You in Chicago. I saw you recently post that you moved to like the Atlanta area. But before we got to that, I wanted to actually talk about other thing that you had posted along with that was the fact that you went back home and needing a reset. A part of that. So, can you speak on like the importance of needing that reset in your life to kind of just like before you transition?
So I think the whole point of this was that like a lot of times you want stuff to happen when you want it.
Mm-hmm.
When you want it to happen, but at the time that I wanted to do this, it just wasn't financially. It just wasn't possible. Period.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of bite the bullet and go back home and stack up and do what I had to do to come out here. But I do think in doing all of that, I grew closer to God. I grew closer to my parents. I have a better relationship with them today. And I just think that the importance of just resetting is like sometimes you don't need to be thrown right into the situation. A lot of times, sometimes you just need to just take you need to take a step back. You need to collect your thoughts, collect just whatever, and to be able to go into a situation and just going into a situation fully knowing that you're prepared to to take on whatever it is that you have to take on. So I did all of that, and I just think that it was very beneficial. I think the day before I left, like I told myself, I'm just like, if I'm going down here, I'm going down here. I'm going out swinging. I'm not gonna let anything deter me. I'm not gonna take anything for chance, because it's just like, it's just like we talked about before we got on. It's just like, a close person me told me, it's just like, if you're gonna chase your dreams, when you gonna do it?
Yep.
It's just like we're not getting any younger, and.
Yeah, cause I know for me that's usually Low. Currently, like Low be the one that put the battery in my back and telling me like the real that I need to hear. He be like, bro, nah, like you ill at this shit. You just got to do the work. Yeah,
and so it's just like, I kind of wish I knew what. I wish I would have known what to do from the beginning, because I would have been further. But everything happens for a reason,
Yeah.
And so I feel like whatever's meant for you, it will be meant for you, and whatever it's not, it won't. But I think you have to, like, I feel like you just have to go through these things in order to learn, in order to progress in life. So yeah, I think that's probably my biggest takeaway from that reset of just coming back to Cleveland. And because when you think about it, it's just like, for me, I don't know how you feel about your hometown, but for how I feel about my hometown, I'm just like, that's the reason why I got away from it in the first place, because it's just not enough. Yeah. It's not enough growth. It's not enough people.
Yeah, I say that all the time. Cause I got a friend, who I've been talking to, and she was like, yeah, so, when you gonna take me to Akron? When you gonna take me to Ohio? And I'm like, I don't want to. I was like, it's nothing. Yeah. It's like nothing there. There's nothing really for me to show you. It's like, I was like, we even talked about on Honorable Ruckus. It's like, going back to our homes, because, like me and Akron and like Ethan and Cleveland and Low and Detroit, just like, yo, you go home just like, cause you still got like people and family there, but it's like, you kind of get this feeling of like dreary and sadness and like depression when you go back home, and you're just like, I got to get back to where I'm at, like, get back to Houston, get back to Dallas, get back to, like, for you, like Chicago or Atlanta and things like that. It's like, yo, like, it's cool for those couple days, see your peoples, reconnect real quick, and it's like, but I got to get back out.
Yeah. So it's just like, for me, I didn't want to come back home, but I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
And so, I'm very fortunate for the opportunity that it gave me. It gave me my parents. It gave me, but just the people that like I grew up with. That I'm cool with to this day. I still got to see them, and I still got to interact with them. So it was all love. It was all good, and I think it was very beneficial for me.
Oh yeah, that's dope. Especially when I saw you post that, it helped you like rekindle or like do better with your relationship with your parents. I know over the years I definitely have seen you post a lot about how big of an influence your sister is, and like, can you speak about that? Like, how big of an influence is your sister on you when it comes to like your life and all that?
Okay, so I have two sisters, but I usually talk about the one because me and her share the musical aspect of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say like my style is probably based off of what she was listening to all the years, right? So she would listen to a lot of neo soul, but like she would listen to pretty much anything and everything growing up, and so that's my road dog. So she's a very big influence, not only just in music but just in my life period. When I could come to her with advice, I can just ask her just like, what should I do in this situation? She'll let me know. And so I just think that a lot of times people don't have that people don't have that voice of reason, but it's good to especially an older figure that can just steer you in the right direction. That does have your best interest at heart. So I think she was one of the best things in my life going.
That's dope. That's dope. So you've been down to Atlanta, what, like a couple months now, or like a month or so, whatever?
Bro, I just moved down here last Wednesday. It's only been down here a week and a half.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I thought it was a little bit longer, but I guess. Well, how long is how good is this week or so been? At least like just starting to get situated.
I mean, it kind of just. I kind of had to do the same thing when I was in Chicago. I'm staying with my sister right now, but at the end of the month, I'll have everything saved up to get my own spot. So
yeah.
I haven't really ventured too much out. I've been, I've visited Atlanta, plenty of times. So it's not like I need to. It's not like I'm dying to go see it. I've been out here and I've been out here a few times, probably in like the last couple of years. So it's not.
Yeah, I was there in April for the Janet Jackson concert. I went to I went to the Savannah show, and then I spent like the rest of the weekend in Atlanta.
Oh, okay. How was that for you?
Oh yeah, that was dope. I was sorry I missed Ludacris, because when we got there, Ludacris had just walked off the stage, and he was like the main reason I wanted to go down there. So I was like pretty salty that I had missed him perform. I was like, cause he's my personal favorite rapper. So I was like, yo, this is my one time to finally see Ludacris perform. But overall, like Janet Jackson definitely made up for it, and seeing her perform was like, I was like, oh, this is amazing. I loved it.
Okay, dope. Yeah, I didn't know that you were down there, but yeah, I feel like, and this is just from my personal, this is just my personal preference, but like I'm a big sports fan, and so there's sports teams in Cleveland.
Oh yeah, because I went to the Hawks and Celtics game too, that playoff game.
But it's just something different about sports here in Atlanta. Like it's just more stuff to do down there. So it's like I can really get I can really get into some stuff down here. So it's just from a personal standpoint. But the main reason moving down here was strictly for
music.
So I'm definitely gonna rock out in that aspect. But I do think that on a personal tip, Atlanta is just a different environment altogether.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, cause I've heard of them for years. I'm pretty sure you have Tree Sound Studios. I would say you definitely gotta see if you can get into there.
I've heard of Tree Sound Studios. I don't know like what work they've done, but I've heard of them. There's so many studios down here.
Yeah, you got So Def, you got Outkast in the underground, and all they people basically, and all the big companies all got they popular studios down there. I even saw like Young Blue, the new dude, even he's building his own studio out there and everything. So Rick Ross and his folks with Maybach is down there.
Yeah.
But also I wanted to talk to you about, because you mentioned earlier with new technologies with production and everything. What are your thoughts on like this whole AI, with AI's taking over like pretty much every aspect of everything? It seemed like, because I know like even with Timbaland, he was out here making like AI beats and like using old Biggie verses and old Aaliyah verses and stuff like that. What's your personal thoughts on like this whole AI thing when it comes like at least the production aspect of it?
Well, I guess for the production aspect, if an AI can simulate human interaction with a DAW, then I think that might be something that might be groundbreaking. But like, I think it's helpful in a way where you may need an idea started, because where the production's going now is that like people going half on beats, You'll have maybe 5 or 6, 7 different producers on a beat. 6 producers make the loop, and then 2 people. And so it's just like 8 people, and I'm like, what? How are we?
Yeah.
And now the A&R cussing you out because it's like you initially told me it was 1 person. Now it's 8 people that they got to split 8 ways.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of co-production going on.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I just think that. I think that, technology is getting away, and then sometimes I think we're going backwards with technology. I think this might be one of those things that we're going backwards with. So
yeah,
just my personal opinion. But,
Speaking about the co-production, is there anybody if you could co-produce? Is there any producers that you would love to like be able to co-produce a track with?
I mean, I'm not the type of person that's gonna be like.
All right, so is there anything or anybody that you would want to like co-produce or do any tracks with?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm the type of person that don't want to do collabs with people. Like, if you want to do a collab with me, I'll be open to doing a collab with it. But like, if you're asking me what person that I would like to do a collab with, I mean, I don't think there's one particular person. Like, I mean, it's basically like asking me who's my favorite producer, and it's like.
Oh, that was gonna be my next question.
But it's like, it's such a hard question to answer because like I love a lot of producers. Like I love the producer community. I'm so, I don't care if you do trap beats. I don't care if you do R&B, pop, country, whatever. Like I love the producer community.
Yeah.
And however however you get it is however, I'm always be a fan of you. Gosh. Trying to think. honestly, if I could do a track with Polo the Don has forever been like one of my favorite producers.
Wait a minute, motherfucker.
and he still is to this day. Like he's still one of like my favorite producers. Like just he's just crazy. He is just crazy. So yeah, definitely would pick him. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like I just saw it on Instagram the other day. He just started like a new platform or something like that. I think it's either for like A&Rs or something like that. I did see something on Instagram that he started his own like new platform that he's leading. So I was like, oh, that's dope to see Polo. He's still out here doing his thing, trying to help out the creators and all that. So I thought that was super dope. Top 5 favorite producers, or who's like your 5 go to?
Gosh, okay. You talking about the Mount Rushmore of producers?
Yeah. Who's on the Mount Rushmore?
Are you asking me some of my personal favorites, like
your personal favorites?
Because like we could go either way. Like if we want to talk about Mount Rushmore, like
your personal Mount Rushmore.
My personal Mount Rushmore. All right. So I mean, personally, because I came up in a different era than a lot of these now producers.
Yeah.
I came up in. So I always got to say Kanye. I always got to say Pharrell. Always got to say Timbo. Those are the big 3.
Yep.
And I've already mentioned Polo. So that's 4.
4. Yep.
And then number 5. So I think in terms of impact on the game, Boy Wonder probably has sold the most records out of any modern day producer right now. So I kind of gotta give it to him.
Oh yeah. Especially you just say Drake alone, and it's like he got a long list.
Yeah. He has so much. He has so many placements with so many big artists, and they slap. And I can't even say they don't slap. They definitely do slap. So, but I think like just in terms of his impact to this current generation, he's probably the GOAT to them. And I can't even really knock it because like he's done so much. I don't know if you've watched his producer grind interview, but it was very intriguing and very interesting to kind of like hear his story of how he came up. So I mean, if you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it. But he's definitely
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
he's definitely the GOAT of this generation, in my opinion.
Okay.
So can I add a producer to like maybe like a five
Yeah.
E? Okay. So I don't know if you've heard of this guy, Pop Wanzel. His dad was a producer too. He was a producer like in the 70s, and so Pop Wanzel's dad, I forgot what was his actual name, but like yeah, he was a producer in the 70s, and a lot of his stuff was sampled in like a modern day hip hop, but like.
Okay. Well, just to kind of just wrap it up, let the folks know where they can find you, any artists or anything, if they want to like cop some beats from you or connect with you, let them know where they can find you or find your beats at or whatever. I know like they have like different apps and all that. I don't know where folks can hit you up.
Okay, so you can find me at Skateboard Prodigy on all social media. SK8BRDPRODIGE. So you can find me on all social medias and hit me up and we can talk.
Bet. Anything else you want the folks to know?
Yeah, before I go, I just want to let people know that like success is not linear. Success is definitely not linear, and sometimes you'll probably have to take some steps back. Sometimes you might take a few steps forward, but as long as you're working towards the goal and you don't give up, that's all that matters. That's really all that counts. So don't let failure stop you from from reaching out for success. And I back in the day, I won't say back in the day, but like probably like a few months ago, I was just randomly just on YouTube and I was watching a Jasmine Sullivan. She was doing some type of concert for what's the HBO girl?
Issa Rae?
Issa Rae, yeah, she was doing some type of concert for Issa Rae.
Okay.
And I would never forget the saying that she said. She was like, sometimes your biggest blessing will be on the other side of fear.
Oh, I like that.
And that spoke to me. And it spoke to me so much that I was just like, okay, I'm never going to let stop me from being what could change my life.
Yeah.
And so that's the message that I pass on to everyone else. Don't let fear stop you from what could change your life.
Oh, dropping bars out here. I like that. Yeah. I definitely use that right now in my life with everything we talked about. But yeah, definitely appreciate that, bro. Thank you for taking the time, to sit down and talk with me. Definitely, if there's anything you need my help to promote or whatever, definitely let me know. Much success and blessings to your new journey out there in Atlanta. Definitely gonna have to connect with you the next time I hit the city. But yeah, thank y'all for listening to this episode of Music Impulse. It's your boy Smilez. I'm here with my guy Prodig-E, and we out.
Peace.